What is going on, everybody? BobbyFi with my man Jake Rohde. We are doing our picks of the week, and we got Rohde in the Aaron Rodgers number 12 jersey. Let's go.
Yeah.
We have a Thursday night showdown game going on as we speak. We are talking about the main slate, of course, but Rohde's boys, the Packers, are playing in Arizona, and one of the biggest football games of the year, and definitely the biggest Thursday night game we've seen this year. Maybe the biggest any showdown game we've seen this year. So, Rohde, how you feeling about your showdown? And then we're going to jump into the main slate.
Well, as of right now, it's kind of a stalemate on both sides. The defenses are looking really good. Big bomb just happened for Arizona, so that helped. Hopkins with the big bomb. Luckily, I got a lot of Hopkins and I like him. So they might be like, oh, there's a flag on the play. You never know. But that's looking good. We'll watch that while talking to you guys about the picks. Looking to get it this weekend, man. Every weekend we keep getting bad beats. I made a bad pivot over the weekend. Cost me a lot of money. A DK final ticket, the works. I should have just went Godwin, and I ended up going to Hopkins cheap defense instead of Godwin Bucks defense. But we live and we learn. Moving on. This week we got to get one. These bad beats got to go away, man. We got to get one.
So I want to touch on that real quick because I think it's important. Late swaps are a big thing in NFL, and I understand like you're probably optimizing a little better. If I look back at your message in our Discord, and you're probably optimizing a little bit better if you take Godwin and the Bucks D. At the same time, I think if you're trying to win a tournament, I don't think you're wrong there. And I don't want to say it's a bad play. I just want to say it didn't work out because I don't agree with you that it was a bad play. Maybe because you were playing a little bit from ahead that you could look at it as a bad play. I don't see it that way. So I don't want to hear that it's a bad play. I just think it didn't work out.
No, I probably shouldn't have said it's a bad play because it was definitely a lower ownership going to the Hopkins cheap defense route versus getting like an Arizona defense and Bucks defense. A lot of the defenses kind of hit. I was still top 5 there with Hopkins. Godwin's got that last bomb. The Bucks and like just kept sacking and picking it off, and Arizona started getting there. Like I was still in the top 5 in the power sweep. If Hopkins would have caught that instead of Ertz too, I would have still been up there. But I mean, I still only fell a little bit, like down to 15th. But if those defenses just got there late on me, and the other team, like Houston, couldn't score, so that didn't help. So it wasn't a bad play per se. But like I had the Chase play at 37 points, so at he was like 4% in that contest or something.
Yeah, how did that happen?
So I could have went a little more chalky, especially when I'm going with Kupp and Stafford. And I got Swift to be different on that run back. He was a little low owned. So, like at the time, Hopkins didn't look bad to give me another lower ownership guy in that lineup just to get, better Millie chance win.
Yeah, I think maybe the best way to put it is maybe it was a better millionaire. It was a better sweep because it's a 3 max entry. Maybe the right pivot would have been what you said. But for the millionaire maker, I wouldn't have touched a thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you want that low ownership, both sides. Instead of getting, whatever, a 20%er and an 18%er, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I got you. It was good, but I could have also switched the power sweep and I could have switched the Millie. I could have took them in 2 different paths if I wanted to, but it's whatever. I kept it all together. I had that lineup in a ton of stuff. I could have pivoted some other smaller stuff too that I didn't do right, but some smaller entry buy-ins too. I'm actually not the best late swapper. Like I don't like to do it as much. And like I have so many lineups out there. Like, I don't know, I'm sorting through them at the same time. What's your strategy, Bobby, to get through some of those lineups?
So I mean, look, I don't think that I think that I'm not going to say I know more about football than everyone. I do think I'm a better late swapper than most people. I think that you can try and figure out the leverage you can gain based on your bad lineups versus your good one. Last week was an awful week for me. I got a lot of things right, but I had so much Chiefs, there was nothing I could do. You know what I mean? If I'm going to marry myself to something, and I did, I said it on our show, I did everything. It's the first time in a million years the Chiefs really let us down offensively. You know what I mean? Like I've never seen. I mean, the Chiefs haven't scored less than double-digit points, I think, in like 5 years. So that was just a weird week for me. But in general, I think the thing you want to do with late swap is you really want to try to go for the throat if you're going to try and make a late swap hammer. So I don't think Godwin would have been the right thing, but in a 3 max, maybe you're right. Maybe that is the right thing to do. I still overall think more times than not, taking your Hopkins bet with any cheap defense is going to be what I would have done. Actually, that's a swap I would have made from Godwin and the Bucks D to Hopkins and something else if I was trying to win a tournament. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you there. There's just a lot of different things going through. The biggest thing was I didn't have that lineup was kind of naked from the early games. So like so I really had a lot of different builds to go. I could have went all kinds of ways. So if I had more pieces in the earlier games, I could have maybe, had less options. I still had to play, like Swift and Cup. Like I didn't know their outcomes yet either. So like there was a lot of unknowns yet. So
absolutely. Yeah. I think the second touchdown by Cup was like right after the second game's lock too. So it's a little bit weird always with that stuff, but let's transition it into this week, because the truth is, like with football, like, and I tell everybody this about, I coach, who I, do my lessons or whatever. You cannot be biased towards a week. You can't, I did this wrong. There are so many variables involved in these games, and everything we think we know about how, we could throw the ball over this team. They know you're going to do that. You know what I mean? The same way the Chiefs were so worried about running the ball that Tennessee passed the ball, and that's what carried them. You know what I mean? It's just, everybody knows it. So let's try to figure out the ways we can get different. For me this week, Carolina, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Detroit stand out as the two games that I really want to target. The Rams, maybe single stack, maybe stack it with Tyrod Taylor and Brandon Cooks, and then use two Rams receivers, save some money on the Taylor part of it. Maybe you could do something like that. Buffalo as a single stack without a run back, if you are maybe Gaskin or Gesicki. And then there's the weird game that I keep hearing in my ears, like this game is way too low of a total. Don't get me wrong, I could completely be in this right realm. Pittsburgh is famous for getting pressure on the quarterback. They're 26th in the league in getting pressure on the quarterback. If you give Baker some time and you have these incredibly cheap receivers, I understand how much things have failed. My goal is not to win every week in the NFL. It's my 3 weeks or my 5 weeks or whatever it may be that year. I want to win more money than 10x's all my losses. That's how I play. I'm not trying to win. I'm going to go for the jugular every week, try to win first place, and look like a fool sometimes, lose all my entries. But when I win, I'm going to win big. And that's sort of the theory that I have behind that Pittsburgh-Cleveland game. So Philadelphia, Detroit, Carolina, Atlanta are my number ones. But I think that Cleveland-Pittsburgh game is a sneaky game that no one's really talking about. Also, you have a chance for quarterbacks that can throw the ball possibly 40 times if things go the right way. Probably need Pittsburgh to be in the lead for that to happen. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of Chubb. But either way, I think that's like my weird game that I'm trying to get more on. What games are you looking at this week, man?
I mean, I agree with you on those games. I mean, Cincinnati going to be chalky this week against the Jets. I mean, Chase is still only 14%. He's a little bit pricier, obviously, but he's like an electric player to me. I like that game a little bit. Maybe I'll tend to get some Burrow stacks. I've been high on him all year. Rams, I don't think I get away from the Rams again. Obviously, they're going to probably be chalky. But Cooper Kupp's 9K now. I mean, you think that lowers his ownership any? I don't know.
First of all, it should. I mean, there's two major things we should look at on this slate. Like Cooper Kupp is 9K, which is a really high price to pay. Derrick Henry is 8,900. I actually think I would side with Derrick Henry, even though I hate playing the Indianapolis game, because Indy can literally move the ball. They'll have drives that go on for like 9.5 minutes. So it does kill a little bit of that. At the same time, Derrick Henry is a legitimate MVP threat. Like, I mean, this is crazy what this guy does. And all he has to do is break one play because he's going to get 30 carries. Okay. Every time he's going to get somewhere in that range, or 30 touches. And if they're stacking the line, they'll throw the little screen out to them over to the right or over to the left. It's those are the two guys who I'm most likely fading in the interest of building a consistent lineup. But at the same time, they're there are two guys who can break the slate. If you can find a way to play both those guys, good luck to you. Congratulations. You're nailing all of your value plays because we don't have this obvious value. There's not these guys who everyone's going to love. And we'll get into it when we talk about a lot of my favorite things this week are plays. They're not stacks. I don't love the games this week for stacks. I don't have this, like, I'm married to this game. I'm married to this. I do think Miami is going to cover against Buffalo, which maybe means I should play even more of Buffalo. But I don't really have like a game that's like, other than the Philly, Detroit, Carolina, Atlanta, but Philly, Detroit is not getting off of anybody's radar. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have Jalen Hurts, I'm guessing, is the most popular player. Yeah, there you go. You're going to have Dallas Goddard, I'm guessing, at tight end. We're going to see it right here. Thank you to RG. Dallas Goddard, 14 highest owned tight end. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you end up getting into the wide receiver, Devontae Smith, sixth highest owned wide receiver. So you're not getting off the board enough with those games to actually win yourself tournaments unless you get every other piece right. I'd like to get the pieces right, and then I'm going to build my stacks. And I'm going reverse style this week. Try to get the pieces right, then build my stacks. Does that make any sense to you, Rohde? Because in general, we always talk about getting your stacks, getting your secondary stacks. But this is that mid time of the NFL season. People are in interesting spots. So I have some favorite plays, but my favorite plays don't necessarily correlate to my stacks.
Yeah, I kind of like going that way just because I'm not liking some of these either, and I'm not liking some of the ownership here. So you can see a lot of ownership on some of these guys, you know, and less value. We do have Gainwell in that Philly game as a value play.
He's one of my guys.
He's standing out just as a value perspective of 5K, right?
Right.
You know, I like to get different at running back this week. I think like you talked about that pit game, Najee Harris gets a lot of workload. I know the defense, Cleveland's got a good front line, but like he's getting a lot of passing work too. He's a good play. You can go at running back. I know we're kind of jumping around today, but Eckler, he's a little more expensive. Mixon again, I think we need to give him another shot. I like that. You know, some of those guys at running back to get a little different, and you know, they don't fit necessarily, might not fit in your stack a little bit, like Bobby said, but you can pick some of these lower owned guys and then kind of see where your stack fits around it and kind of look at a different stack that you might have to get a cheaper quarterback. You know, you can go with Wentz is popping as a value quarterback at 5'7" again, and he could be your play on the other side of Henry. You know, if you want to get cheap, right? So
yeah, and you've got options for him too, because whether TY plays or not, Michael Pittman Jr. is for real, and he will be owned. But if TY is healthy and good to go, I will take my shots with TY again. He's 4,900, so you can do that. I'm not going to play the Wentz thing. I don't know. I'll live a long time. I've been very right and very wrong about many things. I feel like I've been very right about Carson Wentz, who he is as a player, and I understand they've got the perfect system. They've got the right coach for him now and everything. I still, I'll take the other side against Carson Wentz all day long. That's just my personal take. But getting into positions, we talked about a little bit of it right there. Look, I mentioned I like the Philly Detroit game. So obviously, if I'm stacking that game, I'm going to play Hurts. I want a quarterback who can run. I love Tom Brady. What he's doing is great. All of these things are great. All of that. I want a quarterback who can run and give me upside when we start getting into these 7,400 plus price tier. So give me Hurts, give me Allen. I'll take a little bit of whatever. I'll have a little bit too much ownership. I'll skip Stafford. I'll skip Brady. Even if I play two receivers from their team, I would still skip them. That's the way that I'm playing these days. Then I'm going to get into Matt Ryan, who I don't love, but I do like Darnold a ton. I do like, I love Josh Allen, who I mentioned already. And then you get into the weird ones like Baker, Tyrod Taylor. I would rather play these cheap quarterbacks. I've seen it win too much. Even play it on a skinny stack. Do whatever you have to do. I think you really got to start saving at quarterback unless your quarterback has like serious rushing touchdown upside. That's my personal take right now. What do you think about it, quarterback? I know we're talking about stacks, but like, what do you think about quarterback in general? Because I do feel like Darnold at 4% is a guy who can put up 30. He can have two rushing touchdowns. He leads as the most rushing touchdowns of any quarterback in the NFL. That's where I'm going to marry myself to. Guys like him. Trevor Lawrence is another one. I would rather go with these guys with the rushing touchdown upside, where if Brady throws for 400 yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns, these guys with 200 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns are going to equal them.
No, yeah, yeah, I like that. Darnold's a good play down there. And as you see, as the season goes on, guys, you're going to see a little bit where the pricing kind of levelizes a little bit. These 3K guys that have stepped up, Chase was real cheap at one point. Now he's in the 7,000 range. All these guys that are actually getting the work and the data starting to go on the projections, it's kind of coming in line. And you're going to have a hard time finding cheaper players, which Bobby already mentioned earlier in the video. And we're just not going to be able to build lineups as easy as we did. And then all the casual players are like, oh, well, what do we do? Like, we don't have any value. So like getting these lower owned quarterbacks might be the way to get that Millie Maker lineup where you can play a couple of the higher upside receivers or like a Derrick Henry running back and still get a 30-point quarterback with Lawrence, with Darnold, and a couple of those guys down there. So
am I crazy with this Baker? If Baker play like I am the number one, don't play Baker, all this stuff. I genuinely think the way Pittsburgh will make them play is going to be making him throw the ball. So I'm going to get into this a little bit. Not a crazy amount maybe, but maybe I will. Baker at 55 and Roethlisberger on the other side. I just think that game there's sneaky like shootout potential. And on top of it, you get a ton of PPR and everybody's cheap except for Deonte Johnson, and you throw Deonte Johnson as the one guy. I just think there's something to be said for that stack. Njoku, like there's something to be said for that game. I feel like the obvious part of that game would be, I mean, assuming that he's healthy, would be Nick Chubb. And when I looked up at my projected ownerships today, I'm looking up there, I'm going, where is Nick Chubb? Where is Nick Chubb? Why is Nick Chubb going to be 5% owned? Can you explain this to me?
I don't know. I like Nick Chubb there. He's been a guy who's been kind of on that lower ownership all the time. He's got 3 touchdown upside. You got no Kareem Hunt now, which he's been with Kareem Hunt the whole year. Kareem Hunt got Kareem Hunt was in when Chubb was out. Chubb hasn't been in when Kareem Hunt is out. So we'll see. He'll be the workhorse back. Maybe he'll get some pass work on some screenplays or something. We'll see if he adds that to his game. But we'll see. At 6.8K, I don't mind it. I really like that 6 to 7 range running backs this week. I know we got Henderson again at 6.5. Swift's at 7.1 as a run back in your Eagles lineup. Eckler's the higher one that I talked about. Kamara probably been getting a lot of work at the passing against the Bucks. They might be down, so they might get a ton of dump offs.
Yeah,
he's expensive. Mixon at 6.9. Taylor even at 7.2 in the same game. But there's a lot of that 6-7K running backs that you're going to want to have this week, I think, in your lineup. So you're going to have to figure out how to pay down somewhere. So
I'm with you on this. And my favorite, fortunately for me, I'm very okay fading chalky anything. This is the way I play DFS in general. Less so in basketball because projections actually matter. But I do like DeAndre Swift. I'm fine with Henderson. I'm fine with this. I'm going to fade it for the most part. DeAndre Swift will be in my stacks. Okay. I just think it's the right thing to do. There's too many other guys. Eli Mitchell is a little bit lower owned and I would rather pay down. But I liked and Kenneth Gainwell, very popular, probably going to keep me a little bit off him. Unfortunately, I've been waiting to make money on this guy because I could tell they liked him early on. Alex Collins, another one. I'm going to be very, 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 very over the top heavy on Joe Mixon if his ownership is somewhat reflective. Joe Mixon is my number 1 running back this week. 6,900 against the Jets, assuming they're playing from ahead. They don't have to be. And there is some worry because Pirine is actually like a good backup, but I will take Joe Mixon all day. I will keep playing Joe Mixon. So Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, already I'm getting different at my running back. I love Jonathan Taylor against Tennessee as well. Very low owned, assuming that he's, again, ready to go. I do like all these guys, okay? Cordorelle Patterson, I almost got laughed off the air at 4,900 for Cordorelle Patterson. Look who he's turned into, man. This guy's a double-digit machine. He's a monster. And everybody's on it now. You got a wide receiver playing running back. You got a wide receiver 3 as a running back 1A, by the way, not even 1B anymore. All these guys make sense to me. Who are you looking at running back?
Well, I mean, I gave away a lot of those guys just a little bit ago. Lower owned Najee, a little bit higher up guy, Eckler higher up. I like Swift. I've always liked Swift this year. Mixon, I really like, as you just called out. Taylor, I do like. James Robinson's getting a lot of ownership against Seattle at 6'6". You do have Patterson there. He's getting a lot of ownership. Patterson I might have to tend to be off him at 6'2". I know he's he's your favorite guy, but
no, I'm starting to get up.
He's starting to get up in ownership. Chuba's ownership, Leonard Fournette. So I like the calls you got. Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Mixon, some of those guys. Those are my favorite guys.
I love Cordorelle Patterson, but it's a great example of spotting the trend and then deciding to get off of it when everyone else is on it, right?
Yeah, that is basically he was on him when nobody else was, and now you got to kind of get off him. It's kind of like the Derrick Henry role. When he's real chalky, you kind of got to get off him. When he's not, you kind of play him,
Well, that brings up an interesting question. Keep going with what you were going to say. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but what about Derrick Henry this week?
He's a high priced up guy. I mean, I don't know his FanDuel price. Let me see that here quick.
He's 10.5 on FanDuel.
Yeah, he's pretty pricey there.
But there's room on FanDuel. You can find 5,700, 60K.
Yeah, my projection's like 3 guys more than him on FanDuel, and as a point per dollar, 5 guys more than him on DK.
Okay.
He actually doesn't grade out as a good value this week, surprisingly. I think that Colts play slower, right, at the Dome?
They do.
So
if they have it their way, they do.
Running back, slower game. I don't know. I might be underweight on him this week. I don't know. He's only 10% though. He could vulture 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those situations where Derrick Henry, I don't love this spot entirely. Tennessee Indy is a big game for a lot of people. I don't love it, but if Derrick Henry's 10% owned, I'm going to have 20% of him. If he's 20% owned, I'm going to have 10% of him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just going to play that game right now, unless I have a total different take on the entire game environment. That's the way I'm going to treat it with Derrick Henry personally.
Yeah.
I am going to be I understand the Fournette. I'm not going to be touching any of that. I currently have no interest in it. If it works out, great. Congratulations, guys. You got the touchdown upside on your side, because New Orleans has a good defense. They have a good run defense. They have a good pass defense for what it's worth as well. I could see Fournette on DraftKings being more viable than I do on FanDuel, which is weird because I usually like him better on FanDuel. All of these top owned guys, I'm completely okay with saying, other than Gainwell in-game stacks, maybe a little bit of Henderson, but certainly like 10% max. Other than that, I'm cool with fading everyone except for Swift, and again, only game stacks. And then we get down to Eli Mitchell and Derrick Henry, and that's when I start being over the field. Everybody else, I'm happy to be under the field on. And then I'm going to be really heavy on Joe Mixon. I'm going to be really heavy on Nick Chubb. And I'm going to be heavy on Najee Harris, your boy, as my other one, because he's a part of my game stacks. That's where I'm at this week. Anything else from running back before we move to wide receiver?
No, I like the plays you call out. One thing I did want to say, guys, watching this game over here on the side in Discord. We're always in Discord. Jump in there, guys. You can ask me any questions you want. We did get the prop call out on the video today. Hopkins throws over 36.5 yard catch, long bomb. He's done that in 5 games this year out of there's 7-0. So 8 games now. He's done in 5 games, throwing over 36.5 yards. We called that out on the show today. And we called out some AJ Dillon on the show today, and he's getting a lot of work, a lot more than Jones. Jones playing receiver. They're actually playing at the same time. Aaron Jones might be hurt, though. I don't know.
That's what I thought was going to happen. Damn it. I wish I would have stuck to that one.
Well, they were playing together, and he was playing a lot of receiver, but now Dillon was in the whole drive. They drove down the field. It's 4th and 1. I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to kick the field goal or not. But yeah, Dillon was in the whole drive. So I don't know the game, but we called out a lot of Dillon. I have him captain in high dollar. Yes, I do. I'm crazy. I don't know. I hope he gets a touchdown.
I love it, bro. I love it.
But the problem is Edmonds has already scored on a Edmonds Wildcat. Edmonds and Connor were both in, and he did a direct snap, and they blocked and got a touchdown. It was wonky. So
they had to give him one this year, huh?
Edmonds is kind of killing me a little
That's
bit.
His first score of the year.
Is it? Yeah, okay.
He hasn't scored a touchdown this year. How about that? For a guy with that much work, that's almost impossible for a team that's the best team or best scoring team in the NFL.
Yeah. So I just want to go off on that note, guys. We're going to move on to receiver right now. We're going to get this video going, get these picks, but just jump in the Discord, talk to us, check out the shows. We're doing really good on the picks. So
absolutely a good call
receiver
again,
here.
Brody. All right, I'll let you start this one off. Who are you looking at wide receiver? Because I have some very strong takes, but you can go ahead and.
Well, I think some of it goes with your games you're talking about. DJ Moore at 6%, Stephon Diggs at 6%. I think were some of the plays. Mike Williams been my guy all year at 5%. I don't really like the Patriots. I think Chargers need a good game coming out of the bye. I really might have a heavy. I know he's a 7-7. No one wants to pay for that. You can play Keenan Allen as well at 6-5. He's projected a little bit more, but I think he's due for a big game as well. So, I mean, one of those guys I feel like you're going to have a big game. You know, DK Metcalf at 6.8 at 4% ownership. Who the hell's throwing him the ball? I get it. But like the guy only gets the ball from that Geno, whatever. It's only throwing him the ball. They're playing Jacksonville. I actually like the maybe DK run back to the Lawrence stack that Bobby just talked about. So that's not a bad play. You know, AJ Brown's still cheap against the Colts. If you're stacking that game up, I know we talked about liking that game, you know, so you can do that. Terry McLaurin and that he's always projects well. He's the lead receiver on that team, and he's 2%. So if you run my high flyer of the week right there, I know I don't really like that game, but he's super low owned. And then the Bengals receivers, I kind of like them and Robert Woods to round it out.
Love it. I love everything you said. I'm going to go through some of the ownerships and just go through. So I'm going to say,
sorry, getting excited over here at True DFS.
What happened?
He broke one up the middle, got 9 yards, and almost scored. He's down to the 5. Dylan.
Oh man, it would have been.
It was
nice
1st and 10.
Oh,
they're on the 11. He got down to the 3. No,
maybe they
2.
give him one more. I don't think so.
He looks good. He's got a lot of yards and catches too out of the
feels
back.
like Mercedes Lewis right now. Just wait. You're gonna.
Oh, my AJ Dillon line is in the money in the big one.
Love it.
The big one.
I love the AJ Dillon line as we were talking about earlier.
Top 200 out of the whatever 1,500 people.
Let's go, bro.
And if he scores, they bring in Aaron Jones on the goal line. Look at this. Look at this.
Yes, nonsense. All right. Well, don't look at that for 1 second. Let's go. Well, actually, you can look at it. I'm gonna. No,
you're talking receiver. Sorry, I got.
I'm fine with the Tampa Bay, New Orleans situation. Like if you want to play, Tampa Bay, the Tampa Bay side of this in the afternoon, and you want to play the receivers, I still don't know exactly that I want to commit entirely to Godwin. In fact, I probably would just pivot to Mike Evans, as I said last week. If you're going to have this ownership, I think Godwin's a better receiver. I think Evans is a guy to look for near the goal line. I think New Orleans is a very underrated defense. So I am probably going to be below the field on Godwin. I love Brandon Cooks this week, but I am not going to play Brandon Cooks at 20%. I'll be below the field. I will be well above the field on Calvin Ridley. I am thinking about 50% Calvin Ridley. I love Calvin Ridley. I think this is the easiest spot on the week. I am going to be well below on Cooper Kupp, ahead on Pittman, Devontae Smith only in game stacks, below the field on Jacoby Myers, below the field on Jamar Chase, below the field on Cole Beasley, below the field on T. Higgins. Rather, I'll just switch over to Boyd. Way above the field on Keenan Allen. I'll have Keenan Allen 30+% this week. He's the one I'm going to side with this against New England. They have no way of actually stopping him. They will try to stop Mike Williams in the passing game. My opinion that Keenan Allen is going to have a 10-catch game this week. Tyler Boyd, I mentioned before. I like him down here. I love Emmanuel Sanders. He's lower owned than Cole Beasley. Give my Eskimo brother to me. I'll take him. I'll take you, bro. I like Van Jefferson. I don't like that ownership. I don't like that he's anywhere above 1%. I've been talking about Van Jefferson and Deshaun Jackson, that you should play one of them almost every week if you play the way that I play. And basically, I would have been right. You can look at these guys putting up 15s and 20s and whatever at no cost when there's plenty of other guys who everyone's playing. I like the Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs. This feels like a week they can get him 2 touchdowns. So I will be overweight on that. I will be underweight on Judy. I'll be overweight on Moore significantly. These are my core guys. I love Robert Woods. He's the guy I'll use instead of Kupp. I love DK Metcalf. I don't care who the quarterback is. I'll go out there and quarterback and give me DK Metcalf to throw the ball to. I'll be a freaking, at least a CFL quality player. And then we get into a bunch of randomness. And the randomness for me is going to be Cleveland. And yes, it sucks. Yes. How could you suggest this guy? How could you suggest playing Odell Beckham? They obviously don't like to throw it to him. They don't like to play Jarvis Landry. I will take 4.6K Odell Beckham blindly. And I will, in my lifetime, have made money. Not since he's been in Cleveland. I don't give a damn. I just don't. I will take Jarvis Landry. And even when he was in Cleveland, if these guys are in and they're good to go, I will overload myself with Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham. The other guy I want to highlight is Deonte Johnson. Very, very low ownership. This guy could easily end up with like 16, 17 targets, depending on how this game flows. Look at the target share. He got hurt in the Denver game and still had a touchdown, still had 15 fantasy points. What are we exactly afraid of? Why is Deonte Johnson not being looked at as these guys? Is it because Ridley is so popular? So my goal would be to try to play Ridley. And when you get this to happen, me and Cheats talk about it all the time. Two guys at a similar price range and everyone's going to choose one guy. My answer is not fade that guy and play the other guy. It's play both of them. So Ridley and Deonte Johnson with one of the Cleveland receivers will be in a lot of my lineups. And that's where I'm looking for some weird stacks. You know what I mean? I'm looking for a quarterback to tight end that can make something work. I'm looking for a quarterback with a wide receiver in the flex because I want to play those guys with the upside, with no ownership. That's what I'm looking to do. And I know it's weird, but that's what I'm looking at. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson's going to be unowned again. I'm going to keep playing it. I don't care. Nobody can have a 30% catch rate for a whole season. It's not possible. It happened. Did it happen? Was there a touchdown? Rohde?
Yeah.
Who scored?
Right.
Who scored the touchdown?
Aaron Jones. They brought in Dylan. It was 3rd and 1, right? They brought it, or no, it was 2nd and 2. They hike the ball. Dylan's in. They throw it to Tanyan. Tanyan gets 1 yard short. Gains 1 yard. 1 yard short of the first down. It's 3rd and 1. Now all of a sudden,
my captain. Tanyan is my captain.
Jones in, huh?
Tanyan is my captain. Damn it, he's 3%.
I know. Tanyan couldn't score. He couldn't go through the 2 defenders that stopped him.
That would have been nice.
So yeah. So then they bring in Aaron Jones, hand it to him. He bull rushes to the goal line. He actually doesn't score. The video showed that he didn't get the ball. He got spun around and the ball was just at the line and spun outside. Then his body went in, but the ball was still in front of the line. They kicked the field goal. They didn't even review it. That's how I'm like, yeah, they gave him the touchdown. No, they gave him the touchdown. I mean, not the field goal, the extra point. So it's 7-7 right now. They gave him that, and like they were sure that I can't listen to it because I'm talking this video.
Well, that's annoying for me. I'm happy for you Packers to be in the game here. I do have. Side note: I do have a significant amount of money bet on the Packers against the spread, and I have a smaller amount, but still a good amount, and a parlay with the Packers winning outright. And the Packers winning outright are combined with Buffalo. They're combined with the Rams. They're combined with Tampa Bay. And I'm getting like 10-1. So if the Packers win, I'm looking pretty good. All right. Tight ends, bro.
Tight end, let's go.
Who are we looking at for tight ends?
This is a tough one here at tight ends.
I can jump into this one if you want to.
I mean,
Kyle Pitts. Go ahead.
Yeah, Pitts, you like that game? I like Pitts. I like Hawkinson at 5.4 and DK. I like. You know, Gesicki's been really good, and he's a good run back, I think, in the Buffalo stack. I know you said you might not want to do a run back on the Buffalo stack, but Gesicki would be one of the guys that I like as a run back in that game. Noah Fant's been worthy. You could do like a secondary correlation, Noah Fant to Terry McLaurin, get some decent leverage there. Higbee's still 4 or 5 against Houston. If you like that game and you don't want to play Cooper Kupp, maybe Higbee gets a couple touchdowns, and you can kind of go to that game. Jared Cook's projecting decent for he's high owned 11% for 3.4 on that stack. So if you want to do like a Mike Williams, Jared Cook, and a Herbert stack, you can do something like that. Run it back with your man Jacoby Myers that never scores.
Right when we think there's a Cook, here's the problem with Cook. Every time you think that, hey, oh great, we got Cook involved. Oh wait, it's Parham. It's Parham.
Oh, I
It
like
happens every time. The little vulture always comes in and sneaks in for those little touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I have a decided tight end pool this week. Kyle Pitts is by far and away my number one. I don't mind playing he and Ridley without Matt Ryan because I believe in the rushing upside on the other side with Sam Darnold. He rushes for one. You play Pitts and Ridley on the back end. You play Moore and Darnold. Boom, you're off to the races. Kyle Pitts is the best tight end. He is a wide receiver. That was a joke. I think Goddard and Arnold are really, really good plays. They will be in a lot of my lineups. I like Hawkinson. And I love Hunter Henry this week. I think Hunter Henry is going to have a field day. So if I had to just pick one, it would be Goddard and Henry. If you told me, hey, you have to bet the overs on some guys. I don't even care what the overs are. They're 49.5 yards for Goddard. I'll take that. 100% Goddard's over. Hunter Henry, throw me any number. The Chargers, not only is it a revenge game, but the Chargers cannot, forget the revenge part of it, the Chargers cannot cover a tight end. They absolutely cannot do it. They play everybody to stay deep. They want to protect because they believe they can outscore anybody. So they'll keep it underneath. We saw it a couple weeks ago with Baker Mayfield. I mean, what did Njoku have? Like 170 yards receiving in that game and 2 touchdowns? Or was it 1 touchdown? I don't remember. It was a monster game. I was at the game. I just can't remember the numbers because I was at the game. I would love to play Hunter Henry this week. Dallas Goddard. I like Dan Arnold just because you get the savings. If I use Dan Arnold, it'll probably be in double tight end sets. I like tight end this week. I really think Kyle Pitts, you're getting a wide receiver 1.5 at tight end. In my opinion, by this time next year, we'll be joking about how Kyle Pitts is by far the best tight end in football. That's my take. I know Carolina's really good against the position, good linebackers, but Kyle Pitts is a beast.
Yeah, goes right with the guys I just mentioned, guys. Some of the same guys. So just kind of fit them in or get them in with your stack. Maybe this is where you go with the stack. I mean, reverse build, get some of the top ceiling guys in your stack, and then kind of fill in with some of these cheaper tight ends or one of these guys like Kyle Pitts. I'm probably going to be over the weight on Kyle Pitts, so big time. So
yeah, I think Kyle Pitts. I really do think Hunter Henry. This is not a thing where Hunter Henry is just some sort of gimmicky thing. He is a guy they wanted there. You will see him getting it. Look at this. What happened? 4 touchdowns in a row in the consecutive weeks. They do have they have Jonnu over there. I understand it might feel a little thin. I don't mind it. I'm just going to take my chance there. All right. Boring time. Time for defenses. There's actually some good defenses this week. What are you looking at?
Ooh, if you really want to pay up, I mean, you're going to want to grab the Rams. You know, they didn't look the greatest last week because Lions were right there in that game. But they're 3% owned if you want to get really different. But I don't think we can afford them this week. The Bills at 3.3 is pretty cheap. They're going to be a little chalkier. You guys know I'm a dumpster diver, so let's see what we got in the bottom. I don't really like the Jets. They're 2.2 against the Bengals. I kind of more on the Bengals this week. Texans versus the Rams, negative. Saints probably against the Bucks. You know, sometimes Brady comes out and he ends up being the kind of has a noodle arm. Sometimes he doesn't get there. You know, the Saints ain't bad.
I kind of like. I mean, it's the cheapest you'll ever see the Saints defense. It's a really good defense, by the way.
I think that might be my go-to. Last week I kind of locked in on the Eagles. That kind of killed me, but this week I might lock in on the Saints. And even if you want to get too crazy, Hurts hasn't been doing. He's been doing really good as a fantasy quarterback. He hasn't taken that many sacks this year, but Detroit, I mean, they suck. They're 2.3. I don't think I can go there though, but Hurts could take some sacks and he throws it up a lot. Like he just kind of chucks it. He did get that nice. He's the guy that got that Hail Mary, right? Yeah. So, I mean, he just likes to chuck it up there and he throws some deep balls a little bit. So, you know, never know. There could be a random pick or a tip pass or something.
Yeah.
So there's some cheap ones there, you know. Oh, I didn't see this. Washington defense, 2.1.
Yeah. It's
14% owned.
It's going to be higher than that.
Chalky. They'll probably be really chalky.
I'll still play it. I don't care. I'll still play it.
Yeah, that might be my go-to. If you want to get a little different, pay up, but play the Washington. That's a good value defense.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you that I love both defenses in that game in Denver. I love the Denver defense. I know they're 3.4. I'm okay with it. There's ways I found ways to get to these things this week. So Denver at 3.4. There's a 3.6 defense that I want to. Oh, the Bengals, and then there's Washington. Those are my three standout defenses. I'm going to like we always talk about filter and all these other stuff, but it reminds me that I forgot to talk about one receiver. And look, this is not going to work every time. Okay, everybody's going to be on. You look at right here on even on the DraftKings model, point per dollar. We'll sort by wide receiver. Deebo Samuel, even at 7.4, statistically the number one point per dollar play. I'm going to say go out on a limb and look. This is going to hurt me most of the time, almost all the time. But there is going to be a Brandon Ayuk week, and I am betting on this being the Brandon Ayuk week. So he's 4.2. I just wanted to translate that into defenses because I remember when I was looking at my numbers, I was like, nobody will play Brandon Ayuk. Nobody. And I think at 4.2, it's time to take a shot on a guy who one of these games, I will bet anybody before the end of the year, has the 100-yard, 2-touchdown game. He is that guy. So just wanted to throw that out there. But speaking of defenses, it's going to be the three ones I mentioned for me. All right, Rohde, anything else we forgot to mention? I know we're working overtime here on a Thursday and it's your team is playing, so we'll get out of here. But is there anybody else maybe we forgot to mention that you might want to throw a highlight on, or maybe a game?
Oh man, if one guy we didn't mention, I'm trying to look at receiver that has some. Julio's down to 5.8. You can get him in that game at low ownership.
Mm-hmm.
You know how we always talk about Robbie Anderson, 2% owned. Is it his week this week? Yet to unknown. Bad timing on that.
Bless you.
But there we go. Maybe that guy. Cortland Sutton at 1.8% could be another guy. He's kind of in that mid group. I'm gonna tell you right now, your boy Tiny just caught one, but these Packers, man, they're spreading it around, looking good. That's a little DFS Sweat Showdown picks episode we got here.
That's my boy A-Rod representing our Berkeley. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go Bears.
They just did a reverse to some guy I don't even know. That's great as a Packers fan. Couple guys I wish I had, it looks like. Oh, that's your Amari Rogers. He looks good. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Rogers to Rogers.
Rogers to Rogers. There it is. She just kept saying it today.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it with one note on my end. I'm going to say play the passing game with Carolina, Atlanta, skip the running game. I'm fine with the running game, but I'm not going to play it as chalk when you have only one player who's going to be popular in this game, Calvin Ridley. You got DJ Moore there at 6%. Are you kidding me? Robbie Anderson, I completely understand the 2%. But I'm just going to bring up Robbie Anderson's game log just so you all can see what I'm talking about.
Shoot.
3 receptions, 9 targets. And by the way, these are not just targets. Some of these there was at least 3 that I've seen this year, wide open for 70 plus yards down the sideline in his hands and just drops it. Now, while that might not instill confidence in you, that should instill all the confidence in you. They're still going to him. Look at the target share. It's absolutely absurd. This is a spot where you want to attack every part of this game, in my opinion. And the running backs are the only popular part. You even go to the tight end in Kyle Pitts. Let's play Kyle Pitts. Let's play Calvin Ridley. Let's play one of Moore or Anderson or both with Darnold. And let's have a little shootout. Nice little over in Carolina, Atlanta. I think that's going to happen. So that's where I'm at. Anything else you want to throw to the people before we get out of here?
Nope, I love it. I'm definitely gonna have a stack of that. I might even do all 5 guys you just mentioned, and then try to get a couple different pieces in there as well that we talked about on the show, guys. So if you tune in, if you're not a part of the team, jump in Discord. We got some prop hits hitting tonight. We got some other bets we'll have Sunday live at 11:30 Eastern before with the late news that you're gonna want to know on Sunday. So tune into the video, the live we do on Sundays, and let's just have a big week, guys. Let's keep sending those screenshots. I know there's been a lot of nice wins in there. Sheets has had some first place in tennis with other sports. We got a lot of activity this week. So let's just keep the momentum riding. And as we continue to go in the NFL here.
Love it, Rohde. Always a pleasure, man. You're the best. Rohde, one of the best NFL minds. Look, it's hard for NFL to do it early, this time of season where you don't even know entirely who's playing yet. So we're doing our best job. Be with us at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time on Sunday. and we are going to get it straightened out for you. And this time, Rohde, let's straighten it out. Win 6 figures or don't come back. No, I'm just kidding. Win 6 figures for somebody at True DFS. Let's go, guys. We want to see it. Join us in the Discord. I'll post it in the chat, in the link to the video. Join us on truedfs.com for 2 free weeks. You could literally blindly just play sheets as sheets on every other sport, and you would be extremely profitable. So you should just go with that. And then you could join us for these sports and try and make a fortune, which we're going to do. All right. Good luck to everybody out there. Thank you for being a part of True DFS, and thank you for watching our videos. Like and subscribe and all that nonsense. Rohde's the man. Thank you so much. And good luck, everybody.